In the heart of Washington, D.C., a catastrophic air collision between a military Black Hawk helicopter and a commercial airliner sent shockwaves around the world. The mainstream media rushed to label it a tragic accident. But as the investigation unfolds, mounting evidence is revealing a far more sinister truth. Eyewitness accounts, conflicting reports, and strange actions by key players point to a clear conclusion. This was a carefully orchestrated strike. A targeted operation designed to eliminate a powerful figure on the verge of exposing dangerous secrets. Secrets the deep state would stop at nothing to keep buried. Now, military whistleblowers have come forward, confirming what many had feared. This wasn't an accident, it was an assassination. Before we dive in, join the People's Voice Locals community if you haven't already, and sign up to become a member of the world's first ever cyber nation that truly believes in life, liberty, and the pursuit of your dreams. Visit joson.com and click the Join Us button today. It's completely free. Last week, the northern Florida Gulf Coast got slammed with 7 inches of snow. Today, it's a balmy 68 degrees. Now tell me, does that sound natural to you? The elites aren't even hiding it anymore. In 2025, the message from the global elite is loud and clear. Expect manipulation, expect control, and expect pure, unfiltered bullshit. We warned you last year that Obama's Netflix film Leave the World Behind was blatant predictive programming, a carefully crafted warning disguised as entertainment. Predictive programming isn't just about foreshadowing events, it's about conditioning the public, normalizing chaos, and priming us to accept whatever comes next without resistance. And now the so-called coincidences are piling up. One by one, the scenarios depicted in the film are creeping into reality. Was it just a thriller, or was it a message? You decide. Consider the Philadelphia plane crash. Now imagine thinking that everything happening in the US right now is just a string of random coincidences. Wake up. America is under attack. Not from foreign adversaries, but from within. The signs are all around us. And if we keep ignoring them, we risk being swept into a reality we're not prepared for. The mainstream media, working on behalf of the elite, is telling us not to believe our own eyes. They're telling us the plane crashes across America are just a coincidence. They're gaslighting us into doubting reality just as Orwell warned they would. It's the same playbook. Distort the truth, create confusion, and push the narrative they want us to accept. The question is, will we fall for it?
Plane just crashed on Cotman Avenue, yo. I was right there, bro. What the fuck? Yo, somebody oh my God, yo, the world, yo.
A new video has surfaced showing another angle of the jet slamming into the Philadelphia neighborhood, like a missile targeting its mark. This is nightmare fuel. It's hard to wrap your head around the sheer devastation, but even harder to ignore the eerie feeling that something bigger is at play here. Especially when you take into account everything else happening across the country, and the fact that the flight path of the Black Hawk helicopter in DC shows that it appeared to be deliberately on a collision course with other aircraft before the devastating collision. This isn't just a coincidence, something doesn't add up. Especially when you add to the fact that air traffic controllers warned the US Army helicopter that it was on a collision course with a passenger jet before the crash, but the crew didn't change direction.
S25, get the surgery in sight. spot, Pentagon is PRJ.
This club has a aircraft inside precision separation.
Separate. 472 Washington Tower, 1 star, 32017. 472. American 3130, go around, turn left in 250, claim maintain 3000.
This raises some serious questions. Why didn't they respond to the warning? Was this just a tragic mistake? Or is there something more to this than we're being told? Take, for example, the fact that CNN had pre-written articles about the DC crash published online before it even happened. Now, they're denying it, just like the BBC denied announcing the collapse of the World Trade Center on 9/11 before it occurred. But here's the thing, plenty of people have receipts. The proof is out there, and they can't hide it forever. So, what's really going on here? And why are the mainstream media trying so hard to cover up the truth? A big clue lies in the fact that the Black Hawk helicopter didn't have its transponder on, and it was listed as Priority Air Transport, or PAT. This designation means there was a high-ranking military official on board, someone the authorities are refusing to identify, and the media is desperately working to keep hidden. This explains why the Doomsday plane, the E-4B, was scrambled and headed straight for the area of the Black Hawk plane crash near the Potomac River, just outside Reagan National Airport. The E-4B is no ordinary aircraft. It's a survivable command, control and communication center built for scenarios involving national emergencies or even nuclear threats. Why was it dispatched to the crash site? What was the real nature of this event? And why are they pulling out all the stops to stage manage it? As Google whistleblower Zach Voorhees pointed out, there are just too many coincidences for this collision to be written off as an accident. The evidence is stacking up. It was an assassination attempt.
What are your thoughts on this incident?
I think it was deliberate. With a bunch of other stuff, it just seems that it's over and over and over deliberate. Look, the airspace is not like a driving space, which is 2D. Airspace is 3D. The chances that two things collide in midair is actually very, very low. When I watched the video, it just looked like the helicopter was deliberately heading towards the airplane. Looks like it was some sort of an assassination attempt. And so I would expect that the flight list on who was on that airplane is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, do you think they're going to delay the release of that? Do you think they're going to hold on to that for as long as they can? Because there's already public outroar to get that list out.
Usually with these things, they release fake information that contradicts itself over and over and over again. Drip, 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 drip. And then maybe, a couple of years from now, they'll give us a disclosure. But I think that what's going to happen is that they're going to flood the information scape. That's certainly what I would do if I was a propagandist working for the state. I would just put out a whole bunch of false conspiracy theories. So if you see a bunch of false conspiracy theories that, verge on ridiculousness, then that's your tell that this was a planned operation and that this information is being deliberately pushed out through social media.
Yeah, one thing I noticed was the Wikipedia page for this thing popped up very quickly and was fully detailed with a laundry list of references. And when you check when the actual wiki was updated, it was something like a few hours, like just a few hours after the incident happened. And it's a fully detailed history of the mid-air 2025 collision in Washington, D.C. And I just found that there was a little bit too much information coming out a little too fast.
The fact that nothing adds up, yet the media are asking us to disbelieve what we're seeing with our own eyes, that's the tell. This isn't just an accident. There's an operation in motion, and the stakes are incredibly high.
And then there's the question of how the Black Hawk even did this in the first place, because there were supposedly 3 people on board, although the divers apparently didn't find any bodies, and the Black Hawk can be remote controlled if needs be. So, and apparently it flew out of Langley or near Langley, like the flight path leads back to Langley. So there's red flags written all over this.
According to a military whistleblower, a high-ranking official was taken out, someone who is actively investigating key members of the COVID cabal, seeking justice for their crimes against humanity. We have all the details after this important word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is PillsForever.com. If you think Big Pharma have your best interests at heart, think again. Under Biden, the price of medicine in America has skyrocketed, and there are certain medicines Big Pharma don't want you to know about. That's why I've partnered with PillsForever.com. All of their FDA-approved medicines are the cheapest you'll find anywhere. More importantly, you can order medicines that Big Pharma don't want you to have, such as ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and fenbendazole. Speaking of fenbendazole, not only does it get rid of parasites that live inside your body, there have been studies that show fenbendazole can help with cancer. Listen to this testimony of Joe Tippins, a cancer survivor thanks to fenbendazole.
2 years ago, Joe Tippin says he was told to go home, call hospice, and say his goodbyes. The doctors were unanimous. He was going to die of small cell lung cancer.
Once that kind of cancer goes that far afield, the odds of survival are less than 1%, and the median life expectancy is 3 months.
Tippin says he got a tip, not from a pharmacist, but a veterinarian. And in his desperation, he turned from people medicine to dog medicine. Specifically, fenbendazole.
My insurance company spent $1.2 million on me with traditional means before I switched to a $5 a week medicine that actually saved me.
Get 15% off using coupon code People's Voice at the checkout. Please click the link below this video or call 256-664-4170 to take advantage of this fantastic offer. The global elite are wounded and cornered, and now they're pulling out all the stops to regain control. They've instructed legacy media to work overtime, flooding the airwaves and the internet with distractions and lies to distract the public and control the narrative.
Look, there's a lot of normies out there that seem to be transiently interested in the conspiracies at the very beginning. And so I feel, the pattern that I've noticed is that when there's an operation in play, intelligence assets get right to work with a code red to start posting a bunch of information on authoritative sources like Wikipedia, which are ranked high by Google. And that way, when a normie tries to do a search, they get immediately posted, pushed to a Wikipedia site that has so much information that they just pretty much get that idea that, yeah, this is totally normal, this is totally legitimate, and then they sort of go back to sleep. And so that's why I think this operation get the narrative out there so that people that are online doing searches, pretty much see it and go back to sleep and don't suspect that something is weird.
According to a military whistleblower, the truth behind the DC mid-air collision is far darker than most people are willing to accept. What's being presented as a tragic accident was in reality a carefully orchestrated operation to silence someone who was getting too close to exposing the truth about the pandemic and the usual suspects behind it.
You want to know the real story behind that mid-air collision? It wasn't a fluke, it was planned. The crash in DC wasn't just an accident, it was a message, a carefully executed move. And here's why. Someone in the military, someone high up, was getting too close to the truth, too close to exposing what really happened during the pandemic and who was pulling the strings behind it all. He was on the verge of revealing the truth about Bill Gates and Tony Fauci, the ones who used the pandemic not just as a global crisis, but as an opportunity to solidify power, profit, and control. This person was actively working to bring these individuals to justice, but they couldn't let that happen. So they orchestrated a plan, a very public, very violent spectacle that would distract the world, shift the narrative, and bury the investigation. The media, they're all in on it. They're covering it up, twisting the facts, and making sure no one asks the right questions. They're playing their part just like always. But this isn't just about silencing one person. It's part of a bigger agenda, one where the power brokers, the ones in the shadows, are fighting to regain control. They'll stop at nothing to keep their grip on the system, to prevent the truth from ever seeing the light of day. You want to know what's coming next? More carnage, more bloodshed, total chaos. This is just the beginning. They're at war with the new administration, and they won't hesitate to escalate things until they get what they want. Don't think for a second that this ends with a few plane crashes. It's all part of their plan.
The elite and their propagandists in the media are determined to keep up the charade, to maintain their grip on the narrative. But the truth is, the people are waking up. Every day, we're getting closer to full disclosure of the myriad of crimes we've been subjected to in recent years. We've been the unwitting victims of the most insidious psychological assault in history. But make no mistake, the walls are closing in on them. Soon, the truth will no longer be able to hide in the shadows, and the world will finally see what's been happening behind closed doors.
I also would just like to point out that several years ago when I was working in this press shop and President Trump would take to this podium to brief the American people on COVID-19, he suggested that COVID very well may have came from a lab in Wuhan, China. And many members in this very room mocked him for that, said he was spewing conspiracy theories. He was not. We now know that to be the confirmable truth. It took many years for it to come out, but the president was right in this instance again. Sure.
The press corps was left speechless when it was confirmed that the so-called conspiracy theorists were right all along. Remember when simply mentioning the lab leak theory would get you banned from Facebook and Twitter? Remember when so-called fact-checkers had the power to shadow ban you just for voicing uncomfortable truths? They silenced anybody who dared to question the official narrative. But now, the truth is finally breaking through. We've come a long way, but recent events show that the elite are far from finished. They're still desperately trying to regain control, and the battle is far from over. There's still a long road ahead before we can truly vanquish them and hold them accountable for the crimes they've committed. We're living in critical times, and here at The People's Voice we need your help to continue exposing the elite and holding them to account before it's too late. Join us in our mission to wake up the masses by subscribing to the channel and joining the People's Voice Locals community to join our amazing team. I hope to see you there. Today's video is brought to you by IPv6ers. Are you a content creator who wants to publish information online without Big Brother spying and censoring your every move? IPv6ers is set to revolutionize the way information is disseminated on the internet by eliminating the need for big tech companies to provide unreliable, overpriced services such as self-hosting, email, and data management. IPv6ers enables an easy and accessible way for you to host your own web and email server with direct end-to-end connections and enhanced security. This means no snooping from Big Brother and no interference from the technocratic elite. If Hillary Clinton can get away with running her own server, why shouldn't you? Go to thepeoplesvoice.tv/IPv6 to sign up, or click the link below this video to take back control of the internet and win the info wars against the globalists. If you like our content, help support our sponsor IPv6ers and go to thepeoplesvoice.tv/IPv6 today. Thank you IPv6ers for making this video possible.